Let's check out the starting lineups as we get set for Missouri and Norfolk State. Norfolk State led by their center Kyle Quinn, who averages 16 points and 10 rebounds, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Player of the Year. And Missouri with a backcourt combination of Phil and Matt Pressey, the sons of one-time NBA standout Paul Pressey, now an assistant coach with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Phil is the point guard, very quick, a sophomore out of Dallas.
I think the thing to look for right away, Marv, is can Norfolk State stay in this game and make Missouri uncomfortable? The Tigers so explosive. Norfolk State has to convince themselves and Missouri that they're capable of pulling off the upset. So let's see how they come out of the blocks. Are they composed? Can they make some shots? Can they settle in here?
And the question, will they have trouble dealing with the big stage? They played only 4 games before crowds of 6,000 or larger. Different story here in the NCAA. That's a travel. The officials, Ed Hightower, Brian Dorsey, Keith Kimball. Norfolk State in the green. They have the biggest numbers I've ever seen.
Well, that's beautiful. That's good. We need to see them.
This is O'Quinn, McCauley, and Davis Williams, the 6'6" point guard. Sophomore out of Philadelphia knocks down a 3. And Denman comes right back. Marcus Denman, who averages 17 a game to lead Missouri.
Well, that's how it works with Missouri. You score on one end and there's no time to rest. I mean, they're going to come right back at you.
I mentioned at the start, there is a New York City flavor to Norfolk State. 8 players on the roster come from the 5 boroughs of New York, and 3 others who attended high school in the surrounding area. Plus the head coach, Anthony Evans, is from Brooklyn.
And the one who just took the shot, Kyle O'Quinn, the best player on this team, a dominant low post force, averages 16 points, 10 rebounds. And he needs to establish himself against this Missouri team early.
A Missouri team that went 30-4, 14-4 in the Big 12. Shot clock to 5. Pressey got the step behind the back pass. Ratliff could not convert.
And that's 2 spectacular passes we've seen from Pressey. The first one in transition.
O'Quinn with the drive. Kyle O'Quinn, who had a dramatic growth spurt going from a 5'11" high school freshman to a 6'7" high school junior. It's similar. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago during the Kentucky-Florida game with Anthony Davis going 7 inches within 2 years. Marcus Denman once again.
And O'Quinn was barely recruited out of high school. Only had 1 scholarship offer from Norfolk State. Obviously turned into quite a player. But it just shows you how many guys can be really uncovered. You know, so many players at that age, you don't know how big they're going to become or how hard they're going to work.
And you saw the power move by O'Quinn. He goes 6'10", 240 pounds. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year in the conference the past 2 seasons.
Well, this is a small Missouri team. Ratliff's a big guy, but for the most part, they're going to play 4 guards as English lines up the 3 and misses it. So, well, O'Quinn can take advantage of the lack of weak side help and weak side size on Missouri.
The Keisha firing high and wide. Pressey for 3. Matt Pressey taking the pass from brother Phil. Nicely done. Phil Pressey to Ricardo Ratliff.
Pressey is so impressive, Marv. Just the penetration and the vision. That's the 3rd time we've seen him find Ratliff with nobody on him.
Game is tied at 7. Pressey, 215 assists, broke the school record for assists in a season. It was set by Anthony Peeler. 6 points for Kyle O'Quinn.
This is an impressive team, Marv, when you look at the way they play under Coach Anthony Evans. They really execute in the half court. And Ratliff can't get the post move to go. We're going to see a foul here. There's Evans, but just watching this team, you see the execution. They have a good understanding of when to attack, when to pull the ball back out, time and score. This is a smart team and very well coached.
Foul is called on Rodney McCauley. Michael Dixon coming on for Missouri, junior out of Kansas City, the backup point guard, averaging 13 points, playing off the bench.
Leading bench scorer in the country. Just an amazing weapon to have. So they lose nothing when he comes in. In fact, they actually gain quite a bit offensively.
Norfolk State 25-9, turning it from 12-20 a year ago. They won the Mid-Eastern Athletic Tournament for the first time. Off the steal. Dixon able to chase it down. And it deflected out of bounds. Missouri will maintain possession.
Well, Phil Pressey has been incredible here in the early going, finding teammates like Ratliff for the dunk.
Welcome back to Omaha. It's time for the Powerade Sideline Report. Missouri began the season with a new coach and a lack of trust. That all changed when Coach Frank Haith introduced team building drills with the help of Navy SEALs. It was very grueling drills, both on land and in water. Ricardo Ratliff, one of those who couldn't swim, but he learned to rely on his teammates in the pool. As a result of those exercises, roles were defined and leadership was established. Missouri had a terrific season. Mark.
All right, Craig, here's Denman firing for three. It's back tapped and kept alive. Dixon from downtown. And the foul is called on Phil Pressey. Getting back to Frank Haith, who's in his first season as head coach of Missouri after 7 years with Miami and had been on the hot seat with only one NCAA appearance in Miami. The initial reaction to Frank's hiring was not favorable. He was not a very popular guy those days. But that has turned around during the course of the season.
Well, what a job he's done when you think about it. He loses Lawrence Bowers, one of his best players, a power forward, to an ACL injury at the beginning of the season. He's left with basically 6 or 7 players who he's going to count on as Tavares gets to the rim. And keep in mind, too, that Missouri played that Mike Anderson style, the old Nolan Richardson 40 minutes of how they press everywhere, they trap. This team, much different style. 4 guards, not nearly as much pressure defense because they can't wear themselves down.
Heath took over from Mike Anderson, now head coach of Arkansas. Willis keeps it alive. He just came on. There's Tavares Williams, open shot here. Brandon Willis trying a 3. Norfolk State controlling the boards. Rodney McCauley with the pullback.
And this is where Missouri has had some troubles, because of the small lineup they play. They're very vulnerable on the offensive glass, particularly on the weak side after missed shots.
English is off. Tavares with the rebound and a foul on Missouri. Over on CBS, a good one with 4.5 remaining. Second half, Florida State by 3 over St. Bonaventure. Foul is on Steve Moore, who came on moments ago. Moore, 6'9" senior, been a valuable player off the bench.
And Frank Haith is going to go with his 2 bigs together, Moore and Ratliff. Very concerned about the offensive work on the glass that Norfolk State is doing. And I was starting to talk about the offensive rebounding issues. That's been the case in all 4 of Missouri's losses this year as Williams knocks down the jumper. Great start for the Spartans.
8-0 run for Norfolk State. Pendarvis Williams, the 6'6" point guard, has given the Spartans a 15-7 lead over Missouri.
You know, it'll be interesting to see, too. The longer Norfolk State can stay in this game, the more likely it is that the Kansas fans will really take their side with the rivalry between Missouri and Kansas.
Yes, they will enjoy what is taking place to this point. And it is a capacity crowd now with the Creighton game concluded. Denman way off. McCauley wide open for 3.
Good look, though, and a nice pass from Willis. Norfolk State making the extra pass out here.
Denman from downtown. Marcus Denman, who shoots 41% from beyond that 3-point line. So it brings Missouri within 5.
Well, it's obvious to say Norfolk State needs to make shots because they've got to score, but the biggest thing will be the help it provides its defense. If Missouri's taking the ball out of the net, Norfolk State can get its defense set up because in transition, Missouri is explosive.
O'Quinn stepped down, played well by Moore.
Number 3, Jamal Fuentes. Checking for number 15, Rocky McCollum.
Now Janelle Fuentes, backup point guard, has come on for Norfolk State. First appearance in Division I NCAA play by Norfolk State. They did make 15 appearances in the Division II tournament, made the Division II Final Four back in 1995.
And for the first time, we're seeing a zone from Anthony Evans. He does like to mix up his defense. His first 7 minutes, though, pretty much stuck with man-to-man.
Denman kept alive by Ratliff. Open shot for Denman. For Kirk. Marcus Denman, the senior from Kansas City, breakout star player last year as a junior, has had another terrific season. It's now a 2-point lead. Denman has 11 points. That was his third 3 of this first half. O'Quinn being challenged to shoot the 3. Johnson goes. Rod Johnson running out. Dixon. Pressey and Dixon now at the guards. Moore.
Well, you get a sense here early of why Missouri is so good, Mark. They don't take bad shots. I mean, every time they have an opening, they're looking for the next one. And Pressey lines up a good one right there.
Missouri has taken the lead. 9-0 run for the Tigers of Missouri.
Well, that didn't take long. Missouri may be more explosive than any team in the country. Look at Denman hold that follow through, perfect balance, and the Tigers up 1.
Back in Omaha, Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. Major turnaround here by Missouri. They've hit their last 3 from downtown, a 9-0 run the last 2.5 minutes, and they are up by a point. Norfolk State back to the offense. Prentice. Robinson.
Chris McKeechin for 3.
Correction, Chris McKeechin hit the 3 from the corner to give Norfolk State a 2-point lead.
That's a big shot for McKeechin. He's struggled with his shooting the last 4 games at just 31%. So to get a good early look bodes well for him and his rhythm.
Dixon coming up short. Fuentes. And again, McKeechin. Chris McKeechin, senior out of Queens, New York, a transfer from Radford of the Big South Conference, averaging just under 13 a game.
And a great job by Fuentes, who recognized that he had McKeechin open and knowing that he had just made a shot. So get him a good look again. Get it going.
Beautiful pick and roll between Dixon and Ratliff.
And Missouri goes back to its small lineup, 4 guards and 1 in with Ratliff. And that's when they're at their best offensively. Ratliff just rolls right to the rim. They've got 4 shooters all over the floor, and it is almost impossible to cover.
And Jarvis Williams moves over to the 2. Jamal Fuentes now at the point. Dixon played by Fuentes. Just past the halfway mark of this first half, and the foul is called. It is on Fuentes. Norfolk State with a 2-point lead on Missouri. Back in a moment. All right, thank you, Greg. 20-18, Norfolk State leading Missouri with 9.5 remaining in this first half. Missouri in possession. This is a very experienced team. 5 returning starters. The top 6 scorers back from last season. They did lose 6'8" forward Lawrence Powers for the season with an ACL injury. Ratliff now with 6 points. And Bowers, a high-flying highlight reel player, also blocked shots, excellent defensively. That was a major loss.
Can you imagine how good they'd be with him? but as it is, they're
pretty good.
Pretty good. 5 of their 7, their top 7 are seniors, Marv. So the experience really shows just in how hard they work to get each other good shots.
And he'll be back next season, Bowers. Matt Pressey called for the foul. Get exclusive in-game video highlights, up-to-the-minute scores and stats of all NCAA March Madness games at ncaa.com. A.J. Rogers coming on for the first time for Norfolk State. This McCauley, Fuentes.
Missouri mixing in a little zone of its own right now, and it's throwing Norfolk State off a little bit here.
Meacham not able to hit. They keep it alive again. They've done a nice job on the offensive glass.
I thought McCauley may have gotten fouled on that putback.
And English thought that he was hacked. Last touch by Missouri.
Norfolk State. Number 11, Pendarvis Williams.
And now Pendarvis Williams comes back to Norfolk State, replacing Fuentes. Did a good job. McCauley will sit down.
Anthony Evans trying to shuttle players in and out of this game. If he has an advantage in the matchup, it's depth. He'll go 8 or 9 deep, and he's trying to keep everybody fresh. Maybe they can wear down Missouri, although most people have not had much success using that theory.
Evans in his 5th year as head coach of the Spartans of Norfolk State. After 4 years as an assistant, this easily his best season since taking over as Pendarvis Williams hits his second 3.
He and McEachin are Norfolk State's 2 best weapons from beyond the arc, and I think it's going to be imperative for both of those guys to make threes today. They're already off to good starts.
Matt Pressey on the drive was hit.
Foul Norfolk State's number 11, Pendarvis
Fouled in the act, fouled by Williams. Back in a moment. Back at Century Link Center, Omaha, Nebraska. Look at our game summary.
Well, no free throws so far. Norfolk State sticking around by knocking down 3 threes, hanging right with Missouri. And they've got an advantage inside, Marv, with O'Quinn. If they can make threes and pound the offensive glass, they can hang in this game.
Matt Pressey with the first foul shots of the game is a 69% free throw shooter. Matt is Phil's older brother. Matt, a transfer out of Navarro Junior College, where he was a junior college All-American. And you look at this Missouri team, they shoot very well. 50% over the season, 40% from downtown. They're the Big 12's best overall shooting and highest scoring team. They average 80 a game.
And they don't turn it over either, Marv. They average 16 assists and just 10 turnovers as O'Quinn lines up the 3 and knocks it down.
It's only his 6th of the season, 29th attempt.
And that's what it takes when you're trying to pull off a huge upset like this. You've got to get some unexpected things to happen, whether it's somebody that you don't expect to having a big scoring night or maybe knocking down some threes like O'Quinn did.
Matt Pressey. O'Quinn now 9 points. He's hit 4 of 6 from the field. Christine Pugh, a junior point guard out of Brooklyn, has come on. So Norfolk State starts with the 6'6" Pendarvis Williams. They go to Fuentes, and now Pugh. McEachin, that's his favorite spot, hit a 3 earlier. O'Quinn is stripped. He refused to give it up, and then he's tied up. And the possession arrow pointing to Missouri.
Well, Missouri's not going to get fazed by an early deficit. Look at the numbers offensively and where they rank in the Big 12, which is obviously a great conference, but the numbers just, every single one of them just jumps off the chart. I love the turnovers, only 10 per game for a team that plays at such a high tempo, a fast tempo. They really understand how to take care of the ball and share it and get it to each other.
And as Moore makes his move, a foul is called. It is a block. Foul on Pugh.
Moore had a lay-in here, and good call by the officials as Pugh slides underneath Moore.
Number 15, Rodney McCauley checking in for Marcos Tavares.
Rodney McCauley is back for Norfolk State. Three-point lead for Norfolk State. 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this first half. English double teamed. It was slapped away and saved at the midcourt line by Phil Pressey. A rare turnover for Missouri. The pull-up by Pugh, laid off, got collapsed. Kept alive, and the shot clock is still alive.
I think anytime they end up in the half-court situation, Mark, they've got to get the ball into O'Quinn because they're finding shots in transition. They're finding some good looks off of him, but they've got an advantage inside. O'Quinn is a better player than the Missouri Bigs.
Traveling violation on Chris McEachin. Coming up on AT&T at the half, we'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, highlights, and updates. It is all coming up on AT&T at the half. Michael Dixon returns for Missouri. Pressey and Dixon both handle the ball. This is Dixon. Denham off the screen. Marcus Denham, 14 points, and he is the high scorer in the game.
Missouri likes to run a lot of sets for Denman. They'll bring him off picks. They'll run him around curls. He's such a good shooter off of screens, and already a couple of beautiful looking jumpers here today.
That was his 4th from three-point land. He was tied at 26. O'Quinn working on Moore. Powers his way.
He can do that. And he's fired up. O'Quinn knows that he can get some work done down there.
O'Quinn, a late bloomer, had only 1 scholarship offer coming out of high school. 5 for 7, 11 points, 5 rebounds for O'Quinn, and a 2-point lead for his Spartans. Denman trying to cut baseline and hit from behind by McCauley.
Well, this is where Norfolk State has to go in the half court when nothing's happening. Go inside to your big guy, put some pressure on Missouri's team. You see, he's the leader. He's playing with emotion. This team believes right now that they can stay with Missouri. And that's the most important thing right now, just believing in what they're doing.
Catch and shoot. English not able to hit. Kept alive by Moore of Missouri. Dixon for 3. Michael Dixon out of Kansas City. 35% shooter from 3.
It's amazing how often we see Missouri make the pass that leads to the assist, or the hockey assist as we call it. Every player on this team really looks for a great shot rather than a good one.
Oh, Donovan Williams comes right back from downtown. That's his 3rd from three-point range.
Unbelievable. Well, this is not a great three-point shooting team. 31% on the year, but they are coming out and they're lighting it up right now from out there.
Foul on Norfolk State off the drive by Phil Pressey. Just under 4 remaining. In an entertaining first half, Missouri is down by 2. All right, thank you, Greg. And you see the matchup on Sunday, Cincinnati and Florida State. Here in Omaha, 3.5 remaining in this first half, and Norfolk State with a 2-point lead on Missouri as Dixon missed the 20-footer.
Well, one of the things we talked about for Norfolk State was the importance of taking care of the ball, and they've done that so far. Only 4 turnovers, and that's kept the game at their pace.
Chris McEachin with 7 points. And Norfolk State is up by 4. This game quite a contrast to what we saw in the earlier game today with Florida coming up with a win over Virginia. That's a 3 for Dixon. But they combined 1 for 22 from 3-point range. Virginia and Florida in the first half. Different story here between these two teams. 7 3-pointers for Missouri, 7 of 16, and Norfolk State is 5 for 11 from beyond the 3-point arc.
Well, you expect it to continue for Missouri, but you wonder if it can for Norfolk State. And this is not a club that's going to kill you from out there. Really only 2 consistent threats in McEachin and Williams.
How about this long-range attempt by Kyle O'Quinn, the 6'10" center, hit one earlier in this first half. Pressey got tied up and fouled Kim English.
How about the vision for Pressey? He is an amazing passer. Mark really anticipates everything kind of a step quicker than everybody else on the floor.
Phil Pressey with a beautiful assist to set it up for English. Missouri has a 1-point lead. And Jarvis Williams. The steal attempted, but Pressey knocked it out of bounds.
Watch this pass. The penetration, and almost behind him, but he saw English coming the whole way and purposely turned to draw his defender and his vision in the other direction, and then English with the finish. Just a beautiful play.
Norfolk State head coach Anthony Evans continues the heavy shuffling.
He can coach. I mean, you watch his team, the way they're executing, the way they've changed defenses. He's got them believing. And I think his club would benefit from continuing to go inside to O'Quinn.
Anthony Evans from Brooklyn played high school ball at Bishop McCauley. A leaner working on Marcus Dedman, who could not believe that shot went in. He's out of bounds. The ball back to Norfolk State. They have a 1-point lead. Minute and a half to play in what has been a surprising first half. Frank Haith and his Missouri team 30-4 in the regular season, 14-4 in the Big 12. They won the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. In fact, the Tigers last year in the conference. They're moving to the SEC next season.
Much to the chagrin of the rest of the Big 12.
Pressey with the steal. Dixon on the high bounce.
Michael Dixon.
Phil Pressey coming up with the steal and foul his backcourt mate Michael Dixon.
Well, that's turnover number 5, and that's what we talked about. That's an automatic 2 if you turn over the ball in the open court against Missouri.
McCauley played by Denton. O'Quinn, yes, and it counts.
Boy, is he strong. Going right at Steve Moore, who's a big, strong kid himself. Moore doesn't like the call. This is why I like this club going inside to O'Quinn. They've got an advantage in there. They continue to put pressure on Missouri, and they slow the game down. Anthony Evans has his club right in the thick of things here.
Second foul committed by Moore.
Checking in for Norfolk State, number 24, Brandon Wheelis.
O'Quinn 13 points. He's hit 6 of 9 from the field, a 70% free throw shooter. Averages 10 rebounds a game, 3 blocks a game, 19 double-doubles. That's 5th in the nation. Norfolk State has a 3-point lead. We're final minute, first half. Dixon looking for the screen, did not need it.
Michael Dixon.
Timeout is taken by Missouri. 7 points for Dixon. Game is tied at 38. Let's take a look at our tournament summary. Some of the activity from yesterday. The defending champion, University of Connecticut, losing in the round of 64. First defending champ to go down to defeat the following season after winning the title since back in 1996 when UCLA was knocked off in that first round.
Freddie Hoiberg getting that Iowa State program turned around. Then how about that Asheville game against Syracuse. That was remarkable.
Foul on Andrew Jones, the junior who just checked in.
Well, he checked in because they've got fouls to give, and Frank Haith used his last timeout to get his defense set up, or used the last timeout to get his defense set up. Gets Jones in there to commit that foul and hopefully take Norfolk State out of the play that it wanted to run.
Andrew Jones, a tight end on Missouri's football team, so those fouls may not be touch fouls at times. That's a long three-pointer attempted by Ron Johnson. And that is the end of the first half. Norfolk State and Missouri are tied at 38. Norfolk State led by Kyle O'Quinn with 14 points. And Darvis Williams with 11. He's hit 3 from downtown. And Missouri's high man is Marcus Denman with 14 points. He's hit 3 threes. Let's go to Craig and head coach Frank Haith.
Well, Frank, you got it going. You forced a few turnovers, got the pace going, but at times they are dictating it. What do you have to do differently in the second half?
Well, we got it. We can't let him run offense, and we got to do a better job on O'Quinn. I mean, he's killing us in paint. We got to do a good job on him. Do our work early. He's getting too deep post position.
You play him one-on-one. You go to zone. What do you do differently?
No, we got to change it up on him. We got to double him down there in the post, and we got to play a little zone.
All right, thanks a lot. After a quick break, we'll be back.
Back in Omaha, Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. We'll take a look behind the stats. Presented by LG.
Well, I think the big one, we knew O'Quinn was going to be tough for Missouri to handle. The big one is Pendarvis Williams with 11 points. He made all 3 of his threes. And the Spartans have made 5 threes total. That's their season average per game. So they're going to have to continue to make threes and go into O'Quinn to hang into this game. And if you're Missouri, you want to pick up the pace. The problem is very little depth on this team. Nice play there, but they couldn't quite execute for Norfolk State. Well, we heard the guys at halftime talk about Missouri and maybe picking up full court and pressuring. The problem is they don't play many people, and I'm not sure that they can stand up physically over the course of a game if they're pressing.
Oh, nice behind the back pass, but the shot by Ratliff is blocked. Norfolk State in the green and Missouri in the white uniform. Game tied at 38. Here's McCauley on his back tap. You notice Missouri came out with about a minute remaining until the start of the second half. Foul is called before the shot. They stayed in the locker room much longer than usual. And Craig Sager telling us that he talked with head coach Frank Haith, who said, I'm not happy, obviously. We have a lot of things to work on. Phil Pressey called for the foul.
Well, they didn't expect to be in this situation. You know, you're a 2 seed, you're playing at 15. You're not really expecting this kind of talent as Tamaris knocks down the little mid-range jumper. So I think they were caught off guard a little bit. But the biggest thing for Missouri is to not panic. They've got to just keep doing what they do. And Pressey gets to the hole.
And Missouri playing from behind throughout the first half. Norfolk State is 0-10 against ranked opponents since they joined Division I. Tamaris able to recover. Tamaris. So Missouri on the ball. The closest that Norfolk State has come was back in November, coming as close as they've come to beating a top 20 team. Game against Marquette. Williams with 13 points. That was a tournament in the Virgin Islands. They were tied at 57th, less than 2 minutes to play, and lost by 2. This after losing at Marquette by 31 to open up the season. Pressey, and he'll head to the line.
Well, there's no question they gained some confidence from that Marquette game, knowing that they could hang with a top program. I think that was something that Anthony Evans talked to his guys about. He said, look, we've seen some of the best teams in the country. We can hang in there with these guys.
Foul on McCauley, and they say it is a non-shooting foul. You can watch every 2012 March Madness game live on your computer, iPad, iPhone, or select Android phones with NCAA March Madness Live. That's a three-pointer. Matt Pressey knocks down the 3. Visit ncaa.com/March Madness for more information. 1-point lead for the Tigers of Missouri. They are in a battle. Williams got the step and he's fouled.
Well, we heard the Missouri section get pretty vocal just now after that three. They look like they're ready to get things going here. I'm surprised with all these Jayhawk fans in the stands that we're not hearing more support for Norfolk State. I mean, Kansas and Missouri hate each other. People like that should be standing up and cheering this effort from the Spartans. They've been phenomenal here so far.
Foul on Phil Cressy, his third. And Darvis Williams, an excellent free throw shooter, 81% during the season. Michael Dixon returns for Missouri. 6 ties, 8 lead changes in the first half. Norfolk State is led by as many as 8. On 4 occasions, Missouri has taken a 1-point lead. That counts. And the foul. Ricardo Ratliff getting down court in a hurry.
Cannot fall asleep, particularly after a made free throw, but a missed assignment there defensively as Ratliff just races past everybody and gets the easy layup.
Foul on McKeachin. Ratliff, 6'8" senior out of Hampton, Virginia. Games deflected out. Norfolk State of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, the MEAC.
Won the tournament to automatically qualify for the NCAA tournament. They've won 7 games in a row overall. So this is a club that's playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Won the tournament, defeating Bethune-Cookman. And they continue to hit their shots. Pendarvis Williams, 17 points.
He is really playing a solid game here today, making his shots and keeping his club under control. Meanwhile, Ratliff getting it going for Missouri.
10 points for Ratliff. Most of his game is close in. He shoots 69%. That leads the nation in field goal percentage.
Well, it helps that he's got 4 incredible three-point shooters surrounding him all the time, and really they feed off of each other because the shooters are open oftentimes because of Ratliff's rolls to the rim.
Denman for 3, and he's fouled. That'll be 3 free throws.
Missouri is definitely picking up the tempo, and they're not really doing it so much defensively as they are offensively, throwing the ball ahead instead of playing off the dribble. They're playing off the pass and really putting a lot of pressure on Norfolk State right now.
Foul was called on Tamaris. Well, Conan's all new next week on TBS. Don't miss Ewan McGregor, Shaquille O'Neal, Joel McHale, and Will Ferrell. All new Conan weeknights at 11, 10 Central on TBS.
Substitution for Norfolk State is number 1, Rob Johnson. Just jumping in for number 32.
Rob Johnson returns for Norfolk State, coming on for Marcos Tamaris.
Johnson was great against Bethune-Cookman in that MEAC championship game. Hit several turnaround jumpers with his footwork that was like, where did that come from? He's not an explosive offensive player, averages 6 points a game, but just had one of those nights that helped his team get to the tournament.
3.5 in, second half. Oh, he went last. McKeachin from downtown. That's his second 3.
He may be the key guy in this half. Both Quinn and Williams are having great nights. If McKeachin can get going as well, now they've got 3 weapons working. Look out.
Dixon, he gets that shot off in a hurry, even with people in his face.
Yeah, well, he's so quick that you really have to respect the drive. And he could just beat you to the punch getting that shot up.
Dixon with his second from downtown. Missouri has a 3-point lead. And a reach-in foul. Foul is on Dixon, and we will step away.
All year we go out, we go and play against big schools at their schools. We go into Big 12 gyms, and they just overpower us with the fan support. Sometimes you feel as if the refs are not getting on your side. I mean, that's just what you go in the gym with. So we might go in those games and lose. So on a neutral site, when you get a chance to play a big team on a neutral site, you feel like, okay, this is a fair matchup.
And obviously Norfolk State has not been affected what is clearly the biggest game of their lives against the number 3 ranked team in the nation, Missouri. It's tipped home. Will it count? Yes, it will. And a foul. McCauley able to feel this and tip it in.
Okay, so look at the 4 guys in the paint for Missouri. With Ratliff guarding O'Quinn, you've got 4 guards on the weak side. And so you don't have much rebounding if you're Missouri at any point when the big man is taken away from the basket. And that's why we see when Missouri has had problems, it's usually against bigger, stronger teams. Kansas State beat them twice. Kansas with Withy and Robinson got them. So that's an advantage that Norfolk State has really used this afternoon.
And the foul was called on Kim English, who has had a very quiet game. Foul right here at center court called on McEachin.
Talked a little bit about his comment about trying to pull off the upset at the neutral site. One of the things in the NCAA tournament, I think it's always easier to play as an underdog. You've had a great year. Here you are. You got nothing to lose. And so why not just go out and play loose? And I think that's what's happened. Norfolk State playing a great game. They're loose. They're having fun. And Missouri, they haven't been tight, but you can tell now they're starting to feel threatened.
Jarvis Williams. Chris McEachin. Another three-pointer. He has 13 points in all. That's his 3rd from downtown. And he's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Norfolk State.
You can feel the crowd now finally starting to get into this game. All the people who are not here to support Missouri starting to feel like maybe this could happen. And I think the Spartans are feeling like maybe this could happen too. They are playing a great game. They've got some momentum. They're mixing their defenses now and causing some problems for Missouri.
It is still very early, much time to go. But the last time that a 15th seed defeated a number 2 seed was back in 2001. Hampton, also of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, defeated Iowa State,
also of the Big 12.
McCauley breaks it up, and last touched by Denton.
It's a frequent scene in the NCAA tournament, Marv, where that you're at a neutral site and the fans who aren't cheering for one team or the other, they kind of sit there, and then if there's an upset brewing, all of a sudden they start taking sides. I talked to Tom Brennan at halftime, former Vermont coach. When they upset Syracuse a few years ago, he said everybody in the building who wasn't wearing orange was on their feet cheering because they could feel that something monumental was about to happen.
Foul on a three-point attempt by McEachin. The foul by English.
Here's that upset. Hampton beating Iowa State. That was Jamal Tinsley. One of the classic scenes in tournament history right there. The celebration from Hampton.
But still much time remaining. 14 minutes, 16 seconds. Norfolk State now has a 3-point lead. McEachin a 74% free throw shooter. Look at 15 seeds that have upset the number 2 seeds in the tournament since back in 1985.
The 93 Santa Clara team had Steve Nash as a freshman point guard. That one kind of hurt for me.
7-0 run here by Norfolk State. Reach and foul is called on the Spartans. McCauley. Team fouls apiece. We talked about it earlier. There is certainly a New York City geared look to this Norfolk State crowd. players on the roster come from the 5 boroughs of New York, and 3 others who attended high school in the surrounding area, plus the head coach Anthony Evans from Brooklyn and assistant Robert Jones from Queens.
He said it's easy to recruit New York because everyone there is used to cement buildings. They bring them down to Norfolk State, beautiful campus, grass and trees everywhere. The players really enjoy it.
Campus in Norfolk, Virginia. They come in as the number 15 seed in the West region. English gets it down low. Presley kicking it out. Dixon. Another 3 from Michael Dixon. He has 13 points.
That's their game. Spread you out, penetrate, find the open shooter.
Williams, nice pass on that. Beautifully done, setting it up for McEachin.
How about this point guard battle we've got going right now between Williams and Cressy? Both of them really impressive.
Denman for 3. Both clubs firing away at long range with success.
I mentioned it earlier, Mark. Norfolk State a 31% three-point shooting team on the year. They're 7 for 15.
5-second violation.
Wow, you don't often see that on a post move. But here was that pass from Williams. Just beautifully done.
Substitution, Brandon Wheelis, senior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, has come on. Placing Rodney McCauley.
Pendarvis Williams just yelled over at Anthony Evans, his coach, and said, "Coach, I'm good, I'm good." I think this is normally around the time when he gets a rest. He wants to stay out here. I don't blame him. He's having fun. How about that leaping ability from Denman? Watch this move against the 2-3 zone, finds the gap and then just attacks the rim. O'Quinn with a good hard foul, and then he helps Denman up.
Number 12, Marcus Denman, shooting 2.
The crowd not so sure that was a foul. I thought he got him with that left arm on his lower body.
Denman, an excellent free throw shooter, 90%. At the line, averages 17 a game to lead Missouri, shoots 46% from the field.
All Big 12 player, Wooden Award finalist. Second straight year he made All Big 12, Marcus Denman.
Norfolk State now over the foul limit. Missouri 5-team fouls. Coming up on 12 minutes to play. Missouri trailing by a point. Offensive foul as English took the hit from Rob Johnson.
I think it's important for Norfolk State not to get stagnant here offensively, not to start isolating plays. This is not really Rob Johnson's move. The push off, good defensive position from English. They've got to continue to execute. Go into O'Quinn, although he'll go to the bench right now for a rest. But this is an important time in this game for Norfolk State, where they've got to continue to attack and play their game. Way too early to start getting conservative.
A.J. Rogers, 6'7" junior from Rosedale, New York, replacing Kyle O'Quinn. Cressy to the rim. It's tipped home. Ricardo Ratliff with the bucket to give the Tigers a 1-point lead.
Well, Cressy is just amazing. His penetration, his speed, his quickness.
Willis with the step. Oh, beautifully done. But it will not count. Offensive foul.
Mark, this is why I don't like the arc, the restricted area arc that has been added to the game. You got players who are sliding underneath offensive players and getting rewarded for it just because their feet are outside the arc. Back in Omaha, let's take a look at this last play. Brandon Wheelis driving to the hoop. Watch English come over from the weak side and slide underneath him. He gets his feet outside the arc, but there's no question he's still moving. And as I mentioned, that restricted area arc actually makes the job harder for officials as Ratliff scores, because now they're just looking at the feet instead of the actual position of the players.
Solid game for Ricardo Ratliff. He now has 14 points. Missouri with a 3-point lead. Quinn is back. He has been quiet at the start of the second half, but McEachin has certainly picked up the slack. He has scored 10 of his 17 this half. McEachin from way downtown. And the time on the clock, but it's kept alive by O'Quinn, and he scores.
He's strong under there. He just stole that rebound away from Missouri, and then the soft touch on the putback.
The Missouri lead is 1. O'Quinn now with 16.
Fuentes has come in to replace Williams. I don't think Williams will get too much of a rest.
Dixon left his feet and it cost. He had nowhere to go.
Normally the Missouri players spread out around that three-point line. And I think it was English who cut to the rim. A little miscommunication between he and Dixon.
Marcos Tamaris makes his return, replacing Rob Johnson for Norfolk State. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. We are in Omaha as the second round coverage of the NCAA tournament continues. Presley looking for the steal, but Tamaris called for the timeout, so they'll maintain possession. 10 minutes to play, second half. Missouri clinging to a 1-point lead. All right, let's take a look at our game summary. Both clubs shooting well. You can see the three-point efficiency. Norfolk State 7 of 16, Missouri 10 for 21.
And Norfolk State has pretty much done everything they've had to do to try to pull off this upset, taking care of the ball, making some threes of their own, and really controlling the tempo.
Fuentes working at the point. O'Quinn posting on Moore.
Wow. No angle on that shot. Somehow he got it around the side of the backboard and in.
16th lead change of the game. First ever meeting between Missouri and Norfolk State, and the Tigers of Missouri are having themselves an adventure as Dixon hits a standing three-pointer. He has 16 in all, and that's his fourth from downtown.
That's the problem. You're on the weak side. Your instinct is to go help on penetration, but if you're guarding Dixon, you pretty much have to stay with him.
64-62, Missouri. Fuentes, bullet pass handled by O'Quinn, and puts it home.
I don't know how he's making some of these. He's just kind of willing them in around the basket.
20 points for O'Quinn, and the game is tied. He has scored the last 6 for Norfolk State. Here's Presley using the screen. Foul is called on Moore, making contact with Tamaris.
And that was really good defense there in front of Norfolk State. Here's O'Quinn. This was the difficult one, kind of behind the backboard, gets it to go. And then he gets an offensive board. Or actually, it's just a loose ball. It just kind of throws it up. But when it's your night, it's your night.
Third foul committed by Steve Moore.
And I like the defense from Norfolk State on that last one. They stayed home with shooters, and they forced Pressey into an outside shot. And I think that's the best way to play Missouri is make Pressey a scorer. Make him be the main scorer rather than the facilitator.
Quinn battling for position with his pass. A hit Fuentes to the back of the head. Here comes Dixon putting the move on, protecting, scores, and a foul. What a move by Michael Dixon. Went to his left to protect the ball. He now has 18, Tigers headed to the line. 11 of his 18 coming here in the second half. The foul is called on Williams.
Well, when you play Missouri, you've got so many weapons to worry about that sooner or later, something is going to go wrong for you. They've been able to contain English here, the Big 12 tourney MVP. Meanwhile, Dixon has gone nuts.
English attempting only 5 shots. He's been very quiet, not able to get into it. Tamaris with a scoop. Marcos Tamaris from Bayside in Queens, 6'7" senior, but back comes Missouri.
Number 10.
That's a clean block. The fans are furious here, and they should be.
Foul is called on O'Quinn. We'll be right back. Back in Omaha, Norfolk State looking to pull off a huge upset against a team considered one of the surprises of the year, third-ranked Missouri, and they've led most of the way, leading by as many as 8.
And they've played pretty much the perfect game, Marvin. They've had their best 3 players in the action and playing extremely well. You know, Quinn, McKeachin, and Williams, they've accounted for 54 of the 66 Norfolk State points. The other thing they've done is they've just kept their poise. They're so well coached. They've stayed in the moment throughout this game, and they feel like they can pull off this upset. And you can hear the crowd is mixed. We've got a big group of Missouri fans here, but everybody else really starting to pull for the underdog.
Phil Pressey with the 2 free throws, giving Missouri a 2-point lead. Just under 8 remaining. Williams from downtown. Jarvis Williams, sophomore out of Philadelphia, hits his 4th 3. He now has 20 points.
See the smile on his face? I mean, these guys are loose. They are having so much fun out there. And the thought for Missouri is, you know, let's not lose here. For Norfolk State, let's just have fun.
Phil Pressey getting it high off glass over the arm of Kyle O'Quinn. Missouri leads 70-69.
That's the big question down the stretch defensively for Norfolk State. Can they guard the ball screen with Pressey and still get out to shooters?
Williams this time is off, and it carries out of bounds. The ball will go back to the Tigers of Missouri. Norfolk State has never beaten a ranked team. 0-10 against ranked schools since joining Division I. And they're looking at a Missouri team that went 30-4. 31 wins would be Missouri's all-time wins record. 14-4 in the Big 12, and they won the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. Also a Missouri team that a year ago was knocked out in their first game of the second round. Dixon passed on the shot. Here's Presley for 3.
Wow. Missouri is so patient offensively. The extra pass, they probably do it better than anybody in the country. They pass up good shots for great shots. And Pressey ends up wide open because of the unselfishness of his teammates.
Tobias right back from 3-point range. Norfolk State takes a timeout. 6:17 to play. The Missouri lead is 1.
What a game. Both teams shooting the lights out. Norfolk State hanging in here.
In the first of our afternoon doubleheader here in Omaha, it was Florida with the easy win over Virginia, 71-45. There's Billy Donovan, head coach of Florida, 16 years, and scouting out these two teams.
He's got to be pretty pleased where his team is right now. They didn't shoot the ball well today. You know they're going to shoot better, but they played well defensively.
Offensive foul, a charge on Dixon.
One of the few times we've seen the Missouri player out of control here on the penetration.
That's his second personal foul. The Tigers' 17th foul.
Once again, Norfolk State defensively aware, helping out on the weak side. McCauley takes that charge.
Second committed by Dixon. Just under 6 minutes remaining. Norfolk State in the green, in possession, trailing by 1. Morris head faking on English. Knocked away by Pressey, but recovered by McCauley. And it's taken. Good follow by Rodney McCauley. Norfolk State by a point.
Well, athletically, there's really very little difference between these two teams. I mean, this is not your normal 2 versus 15 seeding. And I think that's why we're seeing Missouri stay back and not pressure more defensively. They're worried about getting beaten to the rim.
Foul is called on Norfolk State. Also, the other factors we talked about earlier, it's that it's a neutral court, which certainly helps a team like Norfolk State.
You don't get the momentum from your home crowd, and also you're a team that really goes only 6 or 7 deep. So you don't want to wear your legs out, especially a team that relies so heavily on that 3-point shot like Missouri does.
Foul on McKeechin, that is his 3rd. And Missouri in the double bonus. Get coverage of the Division I Women's Basketball Tournament at ncaa.com/Final Four. What a performance by Phil Pressey. 16 points, 8 assists. Phil Pressey, sophomore point guard, averages 10 points, 7 assists. He's given Missouri a 1-point lead. Tavares rejected. It's blocked by Moore and then the save.
Timeout.
And a timeout is called by Missouri. So that stops the fast break possibility. March Madness continues tonight with 8 more second-round games across CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. You can decide the games you want to watch, see the lineup. We'll be back with you on True TV with Purdue going up against St. Mary's, which is a fun team to watch. 4 Australian players in that lineup, including one of the better point guards in the nation.
Yeah, Matthew Dellavedova. They've got a couple of other guards who can make plays and shoot threes. It's a good matchup with Purdue.
English off on a 3-point attack. Norfolk State a chance to reclaim the lead with 4:20 to go. Second half. And Darvis Williams has been red hot, and a foul. Reaching is called on English. That is his 3rd. 8th team foul, so it is a 1-and-1 for Marcos Tamaris, 70% free throw shooter.
Marcos Tamaris, shooting 1-and-1.
That's point number 10 for Tamaris.
This team has been unbelievably poised all game, Marv. So if you're wondering if they're going to miss free throws, they're only 65% on the season. And if you're thinking, you know, maybe they'll crack now at the free throw line, I don't know. They look very confident to me.
It's a game that has seen 14 ties, 22 lead changes. Norfolk State is led by as many as 8. Out of 4 minutes to play. Missouri with the ball, trailing by 1. Denton.
This is where the shots just get tougher. You know, you get an open look, but there's 3.5 minutes left, and you're down. It just gets harder. The rim gets a little smaller.
McKeechin. Another 3-pointer. 20 from McKeechin. That's his 4th from downtown. Norfolk State has opened up a 4-point advantage. Wesley in trouble with the dribble and lost it. It's a tie-up. And the possession arrow staying with Missouri.
This is unbelievable, Marv. Norfolk State has made 10 3-pointers. They're a 31% 3-point shooting team on the year.
been a 10-2 run for Norfolk State. They went from down 4 to up 4. Both teams are shooting extremely well. Norfolk State at 55%, Missouri at 54%. And how about the shooting from three-point range?
Yeah, 10 of 19. They average 5 makes per game, so they're having an out-of-body experience here. They've also dominated the glass, 32-21, and Pressey gets called for the turnover.
Try to get a little too tricky going behind the back, and it costs.
And finally, Missouri really looks nervous. I didn't feel like they did earlier. I think they were composed, but the last minute or two, you can feel the tension now in this building. Norfolk State's confidence growing by the possession, and Frank Haith and his club very nervous, as they should be.
Last season, Missouri lost the first game they played in the NCAA, second-round game. Second straight year it would be if they lose today. They lost to Cincinnati last season. Foul on Moore, that is number 4. And Norfolk State getting all their scoring from their starting 5, 20 apiece for O'Quinn, Williams, and McEachin.
Well, we said at the beginning of the telecast, it was going to take a perfect effort from them. We knew they'd have to get some three-point shooting. We knew they'd have to take care of the ball and use that size advantage on the offensive glass, and they've done that. 12 offensive rebounds for Norfolk State to just 7 for Missouri. And that's what's created the extra possessions that they've needed.
O'Quinn at the line, a 70% free throw shooter with 1 and 1. Just under 3 remaining. Open shot for English. The problems continue for one of the best players in the country, Ken English.
He's not been on. He had that great Big 12 tournament. But the problem for Missouri now, this is a three-point shooting team. They don't get to the free throw line a whole lot, and they're not getting anything easy. And those three-pointers, as I talked about, they get tougher and tougher as the game winds down.
English just 1 of 7 from the field. O'Quinn with the drive and a foul. It is on Ricardo Ratliff. So both teams in the double bonus.
Missouri foul on number 10.
This is a shooting foul, so 2 shots coming up.
The Tigers' 10th team foul. The Spartans move into the double bonus. At the free throw line, shooting 2 for Norfolk State, Kyle O'Quinn.
Those will be free throws 2 and 3 for Kyle O'Quinn, averaging 16 a game. Leads Norfolk State in scoring, shoots 58%. With an assortment of moves, as we have seen throughout the game. And there's his dad, Tommy, yellow hat.
What a thrill for family members and friends of these kids who have made this trip. Just an unbelievable experience. They're trying to pull off one of the great upsets in tournament history.
81-75 Norfolk. Can they hold on and beat the 3rd-ranked team in the country? During the regular season, ranked in both polls, number 3. Hard hit by O'Quinn on Denman. It's a 12-2 run by Norfolk State. Missouri without a field goal the last 4.5 minutes.
Smart move by Denman, Missouri's leading scorer, going into the body of O'Quinn to draw that foul. And here were the upsets we talked about earlier. Only 4 times in the history of this tournament has a 2 seed knocked off of 15.
And Marcus Denman, who averages 17 a game to lead Missouri without a field goal in the second half.
And I think I got that backwards. I meant 15 seed knocking off a 2. Did I say 2 seed knocking off of 15? I think that's happened a lot.
You know, I blanked out on you at that moment.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. 81-77 Norfolk State. Some light pressure being shown, just under 2 minutes remaining, second half. Picks it all over Williams.
Still just 10 turnovers. for the Spartans. His pressure has not bothered them in the slightest bit today.
Norfolk State now using the clock. Well, they get to a point, and then a quick comes up short. It's a major possession for Missouri. Minute and a half to play. Dixon. Yes. It's down to a 2-point game.
And Missouri calls a timeout.
A clutch shot from Michael Dixon. 81-79. Norfolk State in front. 2 timeouts apiece remaining. Both teams in the double bonus. A minute 26 to play. And the Spartans of Norfolk State in possession with a minute and 26 to go.
Interesting. Phil Pressey on the bench here for Missouri. I know Dixon has played well. Maybe they feel more comfortable, Frank Haith and his staff, with Dixon handling the ball out here. But that's very surprising to me. Pressey really is their leader.
This is McCauley. Williams. Watched by Dixon. Shot clock to 10. A minute to play. 2-point lead for Norfolk State. Kick ball. And that is to the advantage of Norfolk State. It puts 15 back on the shot clock. With 56 seconds remaining.
I would think Norfolk State would want to get the ball inside to O'Quinn here, one-on-one against Steve Moore, if they can get the ball to him in position.
Here's Williams down the lane. He's stripped by Dixon. And the foul is called on McCauley, so Dixon to the line of the double bonus will have 2 shots.
That's a huge swing there. Obviously the steal, but more importantly the foul, because now you send him to the free throw line. There's the steal from behind by Dixon. And you send an 88% free throw shooter to the line with a chance to tie.
4th foul on McCauley. Dixon hit that jumper a couple of possessions back, which was critical.
Yeah, he's really turned it up here. And I'm wondering if maybe Frank Haith feels more comfortable defensively with the smaller Pressey on the bench. We talked about Norfolk State's size.
Game is tied at 81. They're on their feet here in Omaha. 40 seconds to play. 25 on the shot clock. That was way off, and it is there. How often have we seen this afternoon? O'Quinn able to field the air ball, and he will go to the line.
Well, a team that lost only 4 times all year, their weakness is the glass. They play 4 guards and 1 big, and in each of their losses, Missouri has gotten pounded on the glass, and that's been the case here. O'Quinn has really taken advantage on that weak side on missed shots.
The smaller Matt Presley got caught on O'Quinn and was called for the foul. He's 3 of 4 at the line, looking to complete the 3-point play with 34.9 left. Norfolk State with an 84-81 lead. Look at the timeouts remaining. 1 for Norfolk State, 2 for Missouri. Both teams in the double bonus. A 3-point lead for Norfolk State as they look to pull off this enormous upset over Missouri.
And if you're Missouri, I don't think you want to go for a 3 unless you're wide open. You want to extend the game. 35 seconds left. If you get Denman or Dixon going to the hole, you can get a couple of foul shots, stop the clock, and then play defense or foul from there. You still have the 2 timeouts left.
Phil Presley back in at the point. Just under 30 seconds to play. English. Good pressure here. Denman fires one up. Denman with an off-balance fling, and then the foul is called. So Norfolk State will go to the line. foul on Dixon.
A panic shot from Denman. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. Plenty of time on the shot clock, and he just fires. I mean, there's 20 seconds on the game clock. Plenty of time to go to the hole, get a bucket, cut it to 1, and play the foul game. And now Missouri in a heap of trouble if O'Quinn can knock these 2 foul shots down.
He is 4 of 5 at the line, a 70% free throw shooter. He has had a magnificent game. 26 points for the product of Jamaica, New York, by way of Campus Mountain High School in Queens. A late bloomer, had only 1 scholarship offer after coming out of high school. It's 1 of 2. It's a 4-point game. You better hurry. 10 seconds remaining. Phil Presley with the 3. It's down.
Timeout, Missouri.
2-1 with 10 seconds left. And a timeout call.
Pressey from long range. And this is a good 6 feet beyond the line. Nothing but net. Evans was, he knows it's not over yet.
Phil Pressey's 3-pointer cuts it to 1. Norfolk State ball from their baseline with 10 seconds to play.
McKeachin and Williams are the 2 best free throw shooters for Norfolk State. Missouri will go for the steal, and if they don't get it, the quick foul.
McCauley will throw in. Oh, it was deflected. It comes back to McCauley. He's immediately fouled. A near giveaway. Kim English committed the foul. A good foul that he reacted that quickly.
This was a mistake because they were trying to hit Pendarvis Williams behind him on the play. And McCauley got caught up in the moment, I think, and made the pass too quickly, and it could cost his team. He's just a 55% foul shooter, Mark.
He's been to the line once, 0 for 1 from the line. 7.7 left in the second half. Norfolk State by 1.
Yeah, it looked to me like they were running a little misdirection. Bring Tamaris ahead of the play so that they could create a vacuum and bring Pendarvis Williams behind, because Williams is the 81% foul shooter.
And now the officials checking the clock just to make certain that 7.7 is correct. Missouri does have 1 timeout remaining, as does Norfolk State. Crew of Ed Hightower, Brian Dorsey, Keith Kimball.
The question is, if you're Missouri, as the officials get this clock straightened out, after the free throw, after the second one, depending on the score, of course, do you want to just push it in transition, or do you want to call a timeout? And this was actually very lucky that McCauley wasn't called for a violation on the end line. It was very close, but it looked to me like the foul was committed right around 7.8 or so.
It appears they have gone to 8.2. So they get 0.5 of a second added.
So that was a free timeout for Frank Haith. And so his club now should be in position to execute whatever it is he wants, whether it's a timeout or a situation where you just go. And this is such a great open court team. Don't be surprised if they don't take a timeout and just push the ball and run to the 3-point line.
Steve, as you mentioned, Rodney McCauley only 55% at the line this season, and rainbows the first right through.
Pressey enters the game again, back on offense. He's going to push the ball. And I'm guessing they won't call the timeout, or they would have made the substitutions before that.
For the rebound, and it's a tie-up. The arrow is pointing in the direction of Norfolk State with 5.1 remaining. It was the 5'10" Phil Pressey battling the 6'10" Kyle O'Quinn.
O'Quinn, as if he hasn't done enough, here today makes another incredible play. Just the length, the reach, the effort, and he saves his team a possession.
O'Quinn is fouled, so 3.8 remaining, and O'Quinn will go to the line with Norfolk State up by 2. O'Quinn is 5 of 7. At the line, he has 26 points in all.
Obviously, 2 free throws seals it. But if he just makes 1 or 2, Missouri now has to call the timeout that they have remaining in order to set up some kind of a home run play.
Now things are intriguing.
And Frank Haith tells his team, if it goes in, call timeout. I think made or miss, call a timeout.
O'Quinn has shot well at the line today, but only a 70% free throw shooter. 3 8/10 seconds left. Misses both, and there's the timeout.
Timeout, Missouri.
Lost a fraction of a second. Clock showing 2.6 to go, so Missouri will have a chance. Missouri just used their final timeout. They're back in possession with 2 6/10 seconds remaining. What is on the mind of Frank Haith?
Well, you got to get the ball to Pressey, and his momentum has to be going towards the basket. If not, you have to throw a long pass into the front court and try to set something up where you get an opening. This is enough time. If you catch, you can still put it on the floor a couple of times and get to the rim. You see O'Quinn so upset with himself, had a chance to seal this. But Missouri, if you get it to Pressey and you've got shooters flared, he's so fast. 1 or 2 dribbles and a pass, they still have enough time, probably 1 dribble, to get a 3-pointer off or a good look of any kind. Otherwise, you've got to throw this pass down the floor and give yourself an opportunity to catch and make a move to the hole.
And this crowd chanting for the underdog, the decisive underdogs coming in, Norfolk State. They are taking a look at the clock, whether they will add any additional time. It's 2.6 at the moment.
Timeout, Missouri.
Get a fraction of a second added.
Yeah. I think the ball will be taken out about foul line extended. So if they could get Pressey around the half-court area with some momentum, you know, he's got plenty of time to get right to the rim or to find a shooter. And remember, this is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country.
Have a look at that miss by O'Quinn. Trying to listen for the whistle on the replay.
Ratliff really should have just corralled the ball and called the timeout immediately. Frank Haith was telling his team in between the free throw attempts what he wanted, but that split second cost them a little bit of time.
Florida Gators waiting in the wings for the winner here. And they continue to try and ascertain where or when the whistle was blown.
Tough to hear the whistle.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of noise in the building at the time. Looked pretty accurate. I mean, when I heard the whistle and looked down, and it looked like it was right around 2.6, but we'll see.
Well, they get an additional 0.3 of a second,
which is huge in this situation. Chances are they're going to take a shot right near that buzzer, and then of course if it went in, the officials would be able to look at the replay again.
Matt Pressey will inbound. Gets it into his brother, Phil, who fires. And that's it. A huge upset by Norfolk State over Missouri. Perhaps one of the biggest upsets in the history, certainly of early round play in the NCAA.
Pressey got what he wanted, but a great job defensively there by McEachin, staying in front, and it forced the difficult shot. Pressey had the momentum, but he didn't have an angle. And there you see the anguish of Pressey, the leader of one of the best teams in the country, going home early.
And for Norfolk State, their first win against a ranked opponent since they joined Division I. They'd lost their 10 previous, 8 straight wins overall. And once again, Missouri is knocked out in the second round. The third-ranked team in the nation, beaten by Norfolk State of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. What a victory. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Anthony, we talked to you throughout the night. You kept saying, well, they thought this team had the confidence to win, but now that it's over, how do you really feel?
Feel good. Feel good. They played hard. They did what we asked them to do. We came out with the victory.
Well, Kyle O'Quinn is a name they know in the MEAC, but now everybody knows him. Just tell us how he led your team and what he did here tonight.
He's done it all year. He's done it for the past 2 years. He had a double-double. Great player, has really developed. We love him.
Well, congratulations. Kyle, we mentioned only one scholarship offer. You go to Norfolk State. You're a former football player. What does this game here mean to you to knock off Missouri, the #3 team in the country?
I can't explain right now, but at the beginning of the season, I told the coaches, this is my only offer, and the only way I can pay you back is with a championship. I got that. This is a little overtime. I'm paying it back a little overtime right now for that one scholarship offer. God knows where I would have been without these coaches here.
The 26 points, the 14 rebounds, but the hustle, the effort you put on, particularly when you went after that loose ball, tied it up to get the possession. Where do you get all that? You guys didn't have much support from your bench. Did you get tired out there?
Very tired, but I told my mom I talked to Craig Sager, and I wanted to talk to him again.
Well, thanks a lot. Maybe we'll talk to you as the weekend goes on. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Back to you, Mark.
Wait a moment. So Kyle O'Quinn puts on the list of his thrills for the day the chat after the game with Craig. All right. 26 points, 14 rebounds for O'Quinn. That's his dad in the yellow hat, Tommy. The starters did so well for Norfolk State, and with the win, they're the first #15 seed to win a tournament game. First since Hampton back in 2001. Norfolk State defeating Missouri 86-84.